desperately need a new approach to treating malaria because anti-malarial drugs tend to fall like dominoes. So if higher levels of artemisinin resistance emerge, this will have a devastating effect on Africa.
Artemisinin derivatives form the backbone of malaria treatment in Africa. If we lose it, we'll end up with an increase in burden of disease and more deaths, and especially in the parts of Africa where the health system is weakest.
For uncomplicated malaria, everywhere now, we combine the rapidly acting artemisinin with a more slowly eliminated other antimalarial drug. That's called artemisinin combination treatment.
If you get a malaria infection, the number of parasites in the body increases very fast. Artemisinin compounds quickly reduce the parasite biomass to a very low level. And once that is done, then you could mop out the residual parasite biomass over a period of time. The idea was to confront the parasite with two molecules. Each one of them hits the malaria parasite in a different way.
We recorded around 5 million cases in 2016. The number of malaria cases reduced up to 600,000 cases nationwide. In 2023, this was around 88% reduction. Severe cases also dropped to only 2,000 last year, which also around 90% reduction.
Partial resistance to artemisinin is defined as the failure of an artemisinin drug to achieve parasite clearance within 3 days, having taken a quality product and followed treatment guidelines.
Partial artemisinin resistance was initially documented in Rwanda and is rapidly evolving in Africa. The prevalence of mutant genes are increasing even from countries that were identified 10 years ago. Countries like Tanzania, Rwanda, Uganda, and Eritrea have confirmed the artemisinin partial resistance.
Drug resistance spreads. It spreads because people don't take the right amount of drugs or the drugs are not given in the right doses, particularly when lots of people are receiving treatment.
What we are seeing across the East African countries is that point towards resistance is on the range of between 5 to 10%. And that is worrying because as much as we might not be seeing overt clinical treatment failures, we already know that is on the way coming if nothing is done.
In the 90s, we experienced drug resistance to common treatments at that time, chloroquine. Children who were getting severe malaria, as well as pregnant women, were not recovering when given chloroquine-based treatments.
And I was there. In Kenya, when we were changing from chloroquine, we went down the expensive way of sulfadoxine pyrimethamine or SP, and people continued to die. We advised that the next stage was not to switch to SP, but we were dismissed. It's not until the combination therapies came up in the early 2000, and then most African countries, including Kenya, switched off combination therapy.
I saw the entire transition from chloroquine to artemisinin derivatives, and I was in the thick of it. Everybody was fearing, oh, chloroquine is cheap, and we are moving into a drug that is not as cheap as chloroquine.
Right now, we have a window of opportunities that we have already seen partial resistance to artemisinin compound spreading, but it can still be contained. In other words, the idea is to stay ahead of the parasite. It's much cheaper, more efficient way of using the compounds we have now.
It's very important to urgently address drug resistance because we need to preserve their efficacy.
We see in Rwanda that people getting treatment but do not recover after 3 days. They received again for another treatment. This is a kind of a double treatment. And this is also doubling the cost of care, affecting also not only the country but also the funders.
The economic impact of malaria are enormous. First of all, the economic impact of losing so many children before the age of 5 is huge. It's huge. The economic impact of the time people take off to seek treatment for malaria is huge. The economic impact of the effect of malaria on pregnant women is huge. So taken together, the impact of malaria in Africa is huge.
Anti-malaria drug resistance is absolutely going to increase the economic burden to governments, but also to families. And that's why it is very important to protect the cure that we use currently, which are the artemisinin combination therapies.